So our text, we're talking today about glorifying God with social media. Our text is 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 31. I could have chosen many different things for the text. This passage here says, whether therefore you eat or drink or whatsoever you do all to the glory of God. So whether you Facebook or whether you Twitter or whether you do whatever you do all to the glory of God. And so, of course, we know the context there, and talking about whether or not you're the purpose for which you're eating. So, we want to. I'm not trying to preach that passage necessarily. I just wanted to give us a theme verse. We could also have the theme verse of prove all things, hold fast that which is good, and so we could look at that. But the idea here is that we want to be pleasing in the eyes of God, and we want to use every tool that He gives us to use for His glory. And so we're going to look at the various social media platforms. Not all of them. I'm going to mention a bunch, and then we're probably going to just deal with, well, probably one at a time, but we'll probably just deal with the major ones, and then some of the other ones, we'll deal with them as there is need, so to speak. So just before the service, we discussed and wrote down the big ones here. We got Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, Snapchat, Vimeo, Vine, Pinterest, Google+, Reddit, Tumblr, Periscope, StumbleUpon, Skype. We also mentioned Marco Polo. You could also go way back into the 1900s to AOL Instant Messenger and chat rooms and all that kind of stuff. But we're going to talk about those big ones here. I remember when chat rooms were a big thing, that was commonly preached against, and the reason is because a lot of chat rooms were really just a lot of them may have had some good things, but a lot of them were basically like a get together and find somebody to date or something. A lot of it was not. It was not a tool for good. Although people went on there, and I did as well back in the day. We'd go on there and start preaching, and then you get a particular person, then instant message with them direct, to try to share the gospel with them. And so that's an example of that. Chat rooms are still out there, I think, but they're really not like all that popular anymore like they used to be. So is that a fair assumption for me to make? Anybody on chat rooms on a regular basis besides like a forum on a website or something like that? No, okay, didn't think so. So we're going to start with Facebook. We're going to talk about that. Actually, before we do start, I want to mention just the basis, and help me, those of you here, this is going to be kind of an interactive study. Of course, if you're online, I'm not set up to take your questions yet. You can Facebook message me those questions, facebook.com/BROABC1, and that'll get you, and that's the number 1, that'll get you to my Facebook page, and then you can send me a direct message there. It's like somebody shared, oh, he shared my post. There we go. Amen. That's good. That's good. Was it for this message? Okay, so it pops up like right when we start. That's cool. All right. See, I don't know because I'm not able to see that. So that's the benefit of having you guys on Facebook while we're having the lesson here. Again, we are purposely on social media during this Sunday school lesson and during the upcoming Sunday school lessons. We're on social media as part of our lesson. And so, and I don't mind if, of course, once we get started or whatever, if you share the video stream or whatever, that's cool. You can do that every service if you want. But the temptation, and I know the temptation myself, I've sat in the pew and posted, hey, at church and all this, and then the next thing you know, you see, oh, so-and-so said such and such, and you're like, oh, man, next thing you know, you're streaming. And you're like, wait a minute, stop that. It's church time, not Facebook time. Or, so we just have to exercise discipline and all of that. But Facebook is probably one of the most common social media things, although although I'm gonna put this on silent because, and I'll put my phone on silent. I already did. Although I watched an advertisement for Snapchat recently that they're, for like the millennials, Snapchat has become like the biggest thing now, and people are like, oh, I don't get on Facebook hardly ever. I always use Snapchat. But of course, and yeah, and I've heard a bunch about Instagram, and Instagram's owned by Facebook now. But and I know a lot of people who are quote unquote against social media, but they're on Instagram. And so, which is funny because Instagram is just as or even more dangerous than any of the other social media things. So before we get started too much, and I know I keep saying before we get started this, before we get started that, I do want to mention several things. One, social media, as I mentioned before, is a tool. It can be used for good and it can be used for bad. The thing with any public forum, you always have predators. And what I mean by that is you always have people that, for whatever reason, are trying to get you to do sinful things. You have advertisements that are coming at you that are advertisements that you should not be looking at, you should not be viewing. There are advertisements that you should not watch, and videos you shouldn't watch, and pictures that you shouldn't look at, and even posts that are text only that you shouldn't be reading. And so if we want to glorify God in every area of our life, including social media, we have to filter it. And we're going to talk about filtering different things. And we're going to talk about certain things that you can do but shouldn't do. Okay, and so I want to make sure that, because sometimes we stumble into something and the next thing we know, how did I get here? And especially in social media. In fact, Instagram's a major issue of that. If you tag your post, hashtag, right? Is that the sign for hashtag? Hashtag, what's that? Pound sign, right? Yeah, that's right. I did the pound sign, right? If you hashtag your post or whatever, I just make it a practice to never, ever click on that hashtag to see what other people are saying. Because it doesn't matter what you put hashtag Baptist preacher, and you find all kinds of wicked stuff. I mean, not to say that you really do. I don't know. I haven't clicked on it. But that's one thing, again, I'll get into when we talk about Instagram. But that's one thing I say, okay, look, hey, use hashtags. But be very careful about looking at them. And another key factor is, just as with IRL, as we call it, in real life, just as in if you're going to go out into a public place by yourself, you should have accountability for a number of reasons. One is for your own physical safety. If you go in our world today, if you go for a walk in this neighborhood, somebody or any other, somebody needs to know where you're going, and they need to know that you got back for your own physical safety. Now, that's not necessarily a matter of sin or whatever. It's a matter of just being careful. That's all. And if you don't do it, it's not that you're sinning by not doing it. However, if you don't do it, you run the risk of, well, that person disappeared. Nobody knows where they're at. Nobody knows where they were. Nobody knows where they were going. And so it's a potential there. So in terms of sin, though, you go out and you're tempted, as Proverbs talks about. Solomon says he sees, the guy walking along and the woman on her corner there. I think it was, right? He looks out of the window and he sees this woman that basically this harlot that captures the man with her enticing looks and all of this, and they sin. Well, there could have been a certain level of accountability that could have possibly helped prevent that. If that man had known, hey, I have to answer to somebody. I'm accountable to somebody. I have someone, and that's where this concept of accountability partners comes in play. where you let people know, hey, I want you to hold me accountable for my actions. I want you to ask me when I go out on my own, when I go out downtown, even if it's to go downtown and preach. I want you to ask me what happened, and ask me how it went, and ask me what I did, and probe, because I want you to keep me accountable so that when I go out, I know that I'm going to have to answer to somebody. So if I'm tempted, it's that fact of accountability. Remember, I said last night I went downtown Kansas City, and I wanted to street preach, but I was afraid. I was afraid for two reasons. One, I was just afraid to do it. I was a chicken. And two, I was by myself, and I was like, who knows what's going to happen? And three, did I say two reasons? And now I'm naming three. It always happens that way. You always find another reason, right? Three, I was afraid that I wouldn't follow through with what I went out there to do. And so I sent an email out to a bunch of people, my sending church, and I said, hey, I'm going street preaching. Pray for me. And guess what? It was the fact that I knew someone was going to ask me how did it go that caused me to actually do what I said I was going to do, because there was accountability. And guess what? On my way back, my pastor at the time sent me a text and said, hey, how'd the street preaching go? Just think what I would have said, what I would have had to say if I didn't go through with it, if I would have chickened out. Oh, brother, I chickened out. Messed up. No, it was a great time. And I said, it went great, brother. I had a great time. I found a perfect place, and I'm going to be going out here at least a couple times a week. And so, you know, that accountability was good to have. And so, in fact, when I was in Kansas City, it was on deployment for adjusting. I was there for 40 days, and I would send out, every few days, I would send out an email to my sending church and text messages and stuff. I'd send them out and let everybody know what's going on. I'd give them a quote-unquote ministry update. And it wasn't just to, like, show off what I was doing, but it was to maintain communication and accountability. And, of course, accountability with my wife is important as well. If you're married and you're on social media, if you don't have a joint account, which most social media platforms don't really technically allow that, but you can kind of get away with it. But if you don't have a quote-unquote joint account, you need to have one another's passwords. You need to keep each other accountable. Husbands need to read their wives' private messages on Facebook, not necessarily read, just snooping around, but just check on them once in a while. That way the wife knows that they're going to do that. Now, wives, I would say even equally or probably more important, wives need to do the same. They need to be looking at their husband's personal messages. And you know what? That goes for text messages. That goes for emails. That goes for everything. Because there shouldn't be anything secret from your spouse at all, unless it's like a surprise birthday party or something. Then you got to find like creative ways to hide that without them finding out. But that, yeah, there should be transparency. It shouldn't be a dark corner that you can hide stuff in that your spouse isn't going to find. Everything ought to be out in the open when it comes to your spouse. So, so anyways, let's get into this. And I was going to talk about, so Facebook's one of the biggest things now. I know there was MySpace. I didn't even write MySpace down because it's pretty much, I mean, it's still there, but it's, what's that? Oh, underground music. Okay. So yeah, it's still there, but it's really, I mean, for the most part, most people are just kind of like, MySpace? Really? That's like last century, you know? And that's what it was, you know? And I never even had, I never had a MySpace. I don't even really know what exactly all of that's all about, but Facebook is social media. You have text. You have video. You have photo. You have live stream. I think you can do audio. You can do stickers. You can do pretty much anything for the most part. You can get out there, except for, like, you know, obviously the things that were limited in terms of technology, like, you know, you can't send somebody a piece of pizza through Facebook. Well, not yet, but you can send them money to buy pizza. And by the way, a lot of your social media platforms now have the ability to send people money. Snapchat, I was noticing, they have Snap Cash. You can actually, like, send somebody cash. It's technically not cash, it's an electronic transfer. But you can send somebody. Square and Snapchat got together, and you can send somebody money through Square on Snapchat. Yeah, there you go. And that's the other thing I didn't mention, Patreon, but Patreon is a crowdfunding source that you can use any of those social media platforms or many of those social media platforms to post your things. And I'm pointing over there at my Patreon button on the wall, if you know what I'm talking. It says become a patron, and then my Patreon site there is patreon.com/broabc, broabc. But anyways, the Patreon is there for creators that make videos and make any type of creative things that they make available online. You can put that on Patreon, and then people support you financially through Patreon as a crowdfunding source to help you to make more. So that's something that I'll probably spend some time talking about as well. We'll probably talk about that somewhere along the line. In fact, I need to write down Patreon on the list. But first, we're going to talk about Facebook. But I wanted to give a quick simple synopsis of what each social media platform is. Twitter is basically like a public text message, at least my understanding of it for the most part. And in that public text message, you can put links or whatever. You can do photos as well, but it's limited to 160 characters, I believe. So it's a mini blog, I think is what they originally called it, where you can put your posts on there, but they're short, simple, to the point things. Most of the time, Twitter's like now what we call clickbait. So you use it to get people to click on other stuff. So you use Twitter to get people to go to your YouTube page, or you use Twitter to get people to go to your Facebook page, or so it's one of those things. It was a lot bigger than it is now, but it's used by a lot of people. People use it for political things. You can find everything on everybody on there for the most part. Not everybody, but you can find news, weather, just simple, like a link. Like you'll have the Weather Channel will say da 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 da. Hey, snow in the forecast. Here's a link, and then you click on the link, and it takes you to their website. And so it's really a tool that people and companies use to drive traffic somewhere else. That's basically that, and we'll talk more about that as the time comes. Instagram, the original idea was that it's for photographers that are trying to share their photography. It has become nothing like that now. Pretty much Selfie Central, or and I hate to like stereotype it, but it's pretty much I took a picture, look at it, and so that's basically what Instagram has become for the most part. But now they have little short videos that you can do. Initially, I think they were 10-second limit, but I see some people have, for some reason, the rule doesn't apply to some people. I don't know why. What's that? A minute now? I have seen, Brother Greg Locke has done long videos. I'm like, how does he do that? Probably because he's got like 1 million people watching his stuff. And so when you've got a huge following that you're bringing to a social media platform, sometimes that social media platform will say, the rules don't apply to you in this way. And so, like, for example, YouTube, at the point that you get to 1,000 subscribers, there's certain things that change about the rules. Like they give you extra privileges because you're bringing business to them. And so I assume that goes for a lot of social media platforms. I did a Facebook Live message this morning on the bus while we were waiting on the kids to get on, and they didn't get on. But anyways, when we were over there at the one kids would pick up at their house, it was just a quick 1-minute thing. When I got done, it said at the bottom, choose your favorite charity to do a fundraiser for during your next live video. Like, that's cool. Although, we got to get our favorite charity on there. But anyways, so back to Instagram. So the idea with Instagram is it was originally photos, now it's photo and short video, and then you have stories now as well. And people use that. Really, a lot of times people are using that just to kind of like share what's going on in their life. So it's become more of a social media platform than a photo sharing or photography type thing. Although there's still the photography clubs and things like that on there, but that's kind of what it has become. YouTube is video blog, basically, is what it originally, the concept, the idea behind it. It's used for lots of things, used for movies, used for TV shows, used for, they even still use the term YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is youtube.com/broabc. If anybody wonders, for the most part, and don't anybody go out there and steal this, all right? Because there may be a few social media platforms that I don't have it on. But for the most part, you go somewhere /broabc, and that's me. Unless somebody stole it and got to it before me. But broabc is, bro is short for brother, ABC are my initials, Aaron Bryce Campbell. That's how I do all of my stuff. I've got all that. So no, there's actually a reason for it. So my dad decided he wanted my initials to be ABC, and I decided that was a good idea, so I made him ABC2. Like ABC2. Yeah, I'm ABC1, he's ABC2. And when he has a child, he's got to name his firstborn boy ABC3. So he has to. He has no choice. No, it's actually in contract. It's written into his birth certificate. It was a condition of life for him. All right. No, I'm just kidding. So it's a matter of multi-generational marketing is what it is. No, I'm just kidding. So YouTube videos. There's a lot of neat things about YouTube. We'll talk about that when we talk about YouTube. We'll spend a whole session on YouTube. Snapchat. Again, originally that was supposed to be a private picture messenger, where you can send somebody a picture and set a particular expiration time of a certain number of seconds that picture disappears. And so they get to see, hi, and then it's gone. Or you make a silly face. My wife and I would send funny faces back and forth to each other, you know, when I was on the road for adjusting, and she'd be like, and I'd be like, I'm glad that picture is never going to be seen by anyone else ever again. Now I know that, you know, now you can do screenshots and all of that kind of thing, and then you can save it, and then other people can see it, and then they can blackmail you and all that from your funny face. What's that? Unless the Russians get a hold of it, right? And there's a lot of things about Snapchat I'm still learning and stuff. And I deleted the Snapchat because we didn't really have a need for it after I, you know, came back from being on the road and stuff. But then, and you know, it was fun. It's kind of like one of those things you're like, oh, this is kind of fun, cool app. You know, it's kind of like Haytel. I don't know if anybody remembers Haytel. It was an app back in the day. It was like a walkie-talkie app that you have on your phone that you just tap it and you can talk to somebody, and it goes to them like kind of like Nextel, you know. And it goes to them as a walkie-talkie thing, and then they hear it, and then they can talk back. And instead of making a phone call or sending a text message, push the button and talk. And then Zello, I think is what it was. Similar. It's like, oh, it's cool. You download the app, and like, if I look and see the last time I used the app, it's been like probably a year or two or more. You know, it's kind of like that. Sometimes you do that. And then, but when I was researching some things for social media, Snapchat came up again, and I was like, social media? I thought it was more like kind of like a picture, video, text message thing. And I guess since they've added the stories thing, it's become a bigger thing now. And some people have tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands of people who follow them on Snapchat. And some of them say, hey, I like you so much, I'm going to send you money. And so some people make a job out of it. And, you know, you got 700,000 people, and, you know, 1% of them decide they want to send you $10 each. And, you know, 1% of 700,000 is 10% would be 70,000. 1% would be 7,000. You know, 1% of them send you $1. You just got $7,000. Yeah, you call in sick to work the next day. No, that would be lying. You call in rich to work the next day. Sorry, I'm not coming into work today. I have too much money. I don't need to work today. No, no. Of course, $7,000 isn't enough to quit your job. Maybe $7 million. What's that? Yeah, it wouldn't last long enough if you don't know how to deal with it right. So anyways, there's Snapchat. Vimeo is similar to YouTube, except YouTube, one of the key features of YouTube is that they use advertising to pay for their service. And so it's free. Vimeo is free as well for the most part, but I know there's some features probably that I miss or whatever, but YouTube uses Google advertising and things to advertise to your viewers. And now you can opt out of some of those advertisers as a YouTube creator, but some of them you can't. It's just, you know, we probably won't get into Facebook today. I think we're just going to be doing the intro. Maybe we will. I'd like to at least get into there and show you guys how to make a public figure page, because there's an important reason for that in some cases. So I know not everybody's a public figure, but there's you know, good use for that, especially for those of us that are famous like John. I'm just kidding. We have a celebrity in our midst. No, I'm just picking on you, bro. So anyways, well, the other purpose for that is like if you have a business and you want to market yourself, but you don't want to market your private life. You don't want to market your kids. You don't want to market your, you know, your privacy. You just want to market your business and your face of the business, which would be your face, or whatever, your logo and all that. But anyways, or your ministry or whatever. So Vimeo is like a video social media, again, alternative to Facebook that some people use because they don't like the ads. Now, Facebook has come out with a recent thing called Facebook Red, where you can pay a subscription fee for the month to cover the cost of the ads, the cost of the money that Facebook, or not Facebook, YouTube would be making on the ads for your use. I think it's like $25 a month. To me, I'm fine with just kind of like, oh, there's an ad. Or if it's an ad, sometimes the ads are worth watching. Sometimes, if they dial them in just right, then sometimes it's actually something that you might actually be interested in. Sometimes, especially if they're listening to your conversations. What's that? Yes, they still provide those for the public. It's just you have to watch the ads with it. So it's kind of like Netflix for YouTube. Okay. And everybody's trying to do those kind of things. And we could talk about video and things, you know, stuff like that some other time. But so Vimeo's there. Vine, similar. Vine is like YouTube, Twitter. Just kind of put it that way. So like what Twitter is to Facebook, Vine is to YouTube. That makes sense. So like Twitter is like, okay, I can post 160 characters. Facebook, I can post, I think it's limited, but not that limited. I mean, you can write a post that's like real long. And so, and Twitter's like a short version or whatever. And so Vine would be like, okay, I can make, except the ads are a little different the way they handle those in Vine, but Vine is a short video base that you have. I can't remember how long it is. What's that? 3 to 5? No, it's more than that. More than that. And some people that have big followings have longer. It gives you the short part, and then it has a little link at the bottom that says to watch more, click here, and it opens it within Vine, and it'll show you the full length video, which some sometimes it's 5 minutes or something. And there's what they call Vine stars, which never existed before, like 2 or 3 years ago. But there are people who make a living off of their video, their Vine videos. What's that guy's name? Zach King, I think it is. He does those little like magic tricks on Vine. I don't know if anybody's ever seen those, where he'll use like video tricks to do things. Like he's like, oh, hold on, he's on the phone or whatever, or he's playing a video game. He's on the phone. He's like, hold on, I got to take out the trash, and he like pushes it over into the whiteboard and then he erases it. Or like he'll take the trash bag and he'll throw it through the window, and it'll like go through the window and land in the trash can. The trash can closes. It's all like, it's like super video editing. I mean, you know, it's like take one, this part, take two, that part. You know, like he'll do stuff where he flies through the air, or he takes a balloon and pops it on his belly, and it turns the color of his shirt the color of the balloon. You know, it's all just video tricks and stuff. But that guy actually got such a big following that now he does advertisements for credit card companies and cruise lines and stuff like that, because they like the stuff that and he's done ads for Best Buy and stuff like that. So because he brings customers to his videos, and so they pay him to advertise on their behalf. So that's how some people make a living, to do those kind of things. But that's Vine is short video space. It's usually maybe just a few seconds, maybe up to 10, 12 seconds, something like that. And then sometimes it's like they'll have a link and make it longer. You had a question? Yeah, he's got 4, but technically Facebook only allows you to have one personal account. According to their terms and conditions, you can only have one personal account, and it has to be your real name. And that's their rules. So when you find somebody has 2 or 3 accounts, either one, they've been hacked and somebody's created a false account on their behalf, and they're trying to get their, farm their account and use their contacts and things. Or 2, it could be because they forgot their password, and instead of trying to get it back, they just decided, I'll just start a new account. But you can get your password back. It's not that difficult. I mean, worst case scenario, they have to prove that it's you, and you send them a picture of your ID. I've actually had to do that before. But well, you send it in an email to them. So I think that's the way they did it, or either it's uploaded through a secure thing or whatever. You've had to do that too? They said, we need to know your real name. Send us your ID. Yeah. They did that to us when we had a joint account as well. So, they're like, who's who? Yeah. Pinterest. There's a lot. See, Pinterest, it's actually really cool. Most people think, oh, Pinterest, it's for girls and for craft and for this and that. But Pinterest can be used. It's a social media platform, basically similar, I would say, in some ways to Twitter. But you pin something. In other words, you can get a tweak on your phone where when you're on the internet and you're on a website, you can like do your little pop-up thing down there at the bottom with the little squares, and it gives you the option, or not the squares, but I think the plus or the little arrow square with the arrow on the iPhone anyways. And it'll give you the option to email a link or copy the page or save it to your homepage or pin it. And it pins it to your Pinterest account. And then it gives other people, it shows those people who are following you on Pinterest, hey, here's what so-and-so was interested in. They were looking at this and they wanted to share this so that you can see it. The other thing is like people do pictures and things like that they see other people pin and they pin them. And there's more to that, and I underutilize that. I just look at it like when Melissa sends me something, or like if I want an idea about, like, let's say like I'd like to build actually I use it for construction ideas too. Like I wanted to build a table, and so I looked at Pinterest and somebody had it, they were researching it and they pinned it. So like, oh, cool, a pallet table. And so you guys come into my front room and you'll see a pallet table on the front room floor. I built that completely out of scrap materials, except I used new nails. I didn't pull them out of anything, but too much work. But you know, you see that, and actually, I built it pretty heavy duty. I can jump on it, and like it's solid. Can't jump in the middle of the pallet pieces though, but it's solid enough to hold my weight. Pinterest, yeah, yeah, right. And well, every social media platform has the potential to have subtle advertisement, whether or not it is quote unquote real paid for advertisement or not. So just like when I say in my video, hey, subscribe to my YouTube account, that's an ad. I just threw it in there, call to action. So, you know, or I might say, you know, something that's not related, like, let's see here, who do I want to endorse? You know, let all my 3 or 4 followers use their service. Let's see. Who we use for something that we would be comfortable endorsing? Not a big company. What? Oh yeah, 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 yeah. Diamond Shine. What is the name? Now I can't remember. Diamond Shine Services, I think it is. Um, yeah, yeah, brother. Pastor Aaron Adams will love this one. Diamond Shine Services. It's a cleaning company. It's Indianapolis's premier cleaning company. And I'm going to send them a bill for this advertisement. But here we are in the middle of our Sunday school class, and I give an advertisement for a cleaning company. If you need carpet cleaning in your house, or you need window cleaning, or whatever commercial residential cleaning, clean out for your rental properties, Diamond Shine Services is people to call. Probably find them on the internet, or you can get his number from me. No, they don't. No, they don't. Nope. They price things according to their service quality, and so. Really? Oh, because I endorsed him. Yeah. uh, so, anyways, he's done carpet cleaning here. We've liked his service, but there's an example of pretty much all social media platforms. And by the way, this is a IRL social media. Here we are, people, speaker. You know, I'm giving you information, and so you guys got the ad. Not only did you guys get the ad, but YouTube got the ad, and because YouTube got the ad, and the link is on my Facebook account, and he linked the link on his page. It's not viral, but it's out there to a few more people, and so that organic advertising, right. Yeah, Pinterest eventually will probably have advertising. I'm sure it already has advertising in a sense. It's more of a word of mouth, and so you pin a site. Yeah, they have suggested pins as well, but you pin a website and you've advertised for them. It's a word of mouth type advertising. So whether people realize that or not, that when they open the website that you've pinned, that they have now given that website, that the person who pinned it gave the website free advertising, because they don't have to pay for that click to go to the website. Whereas if you searched it on Google and it came up over on the sidebar in an ad and they clicked on it, now that website, the website owner or whoever advertised that website on that Google ad has to pay for that click. First of all, they have to pay for the impression, for the ad to be there in the first place. And then secondly, they pay more if not only do you see the ad, but you click on it when you go to their website, even if you did it by accident. So same thing with those videos, the ads on YouTube as well. and a portion of that money goes to YouTube, that YouTube creator. A portion of it goes to YouTube themselves. And there's like this weird algorithm of how many subscribers you have, or, and all of that. So the other thing is Google Plus. Google Plus is Google's way of trying to do what Facebook's doing. Pretty much. That's a simple way to put it, I think. Some people use it, some people don't. I use it because some people do. But I don't use it very much. But you'll see all of my videos on there because I do them through Facebook or through YouTube, which is a Google product. So we also talked about Reddit, Tumblr, Periscope, StumbleUpon, and Skype. I won't make mention of most of those right now. Skype is cool because you can do like video chat with somebody or video conference. You can now do that on Facebook Messenger as well. But you can do that with somebody anywhere in the world as long as they have a Skype. Now Facebook could possibly take a lot of that away unless you're talking to somebody that's, like, say, in a quote-unquote closed country or something, and you're trying to have a discussion with them without them, because their country may or may not allow them on Facebook. Or if they got on Facebook in their country, it could put them in some sort of danger by communicating with you. So Skype would be your alternative. Or like some of the other things that you could do, FaceTime, as long as it's a Wi-Fi FaceTime as opposed to a number-to-number FaceTime, which would charge international rates for phone calls. What? Am I getting too technical? All right. Then there's Patreon. I mentioned Patreon. It's a crowdfunding source that you can use social media and post it on there for your subscribers. So I'm going to jump on the internet here. This is my YouTube page, but we're not talking about YouTube. We're going to jump on. I have to give a disclaimer. I try very, very carefully to filter my Facebook, as you should as well. Okay, we're going to talk, and we're just going to really just start looking at Facebook. But sometimes stuff pops up, and when that happens, you just see over here, like, you might get a friend suggestion, people you may know. And I'm glad that those are, for the most part, real people, so to speak. And you know what? If you see somebody over here, like this fella here, I don't know who he is, but I've got 14 friends in common with him, all pastors, looks like. Let's say, for example, we're not picking on this guy, all right? So if you're on there and you see the video, not picking on you, but let's say he's somebody else. And, hey, somebody tagged me in a post there. That's cool. So let's say he's, he wants to, or he's not him, he's somebody else, and he's dressed immodestly, and I don't want to see that. Okay, so if that's the case, I just see this little X right here. You just click this little X and remove, and then they won't be suggested to you as a friend again. The problem is if you have friends that have the attire of an harlot, then they will be suggested to you as a friend. So the way that I keep that clean is every time I get on Facebook and come across the suggested friends, I remove every one of them that I'm not interested in being friends with. That way, I keep that list short, and I see preachers, and that looks like a family member of a kid from our youth group back in the day, or Fairhaven Baptist Church, So another thing, some things, real quick, I got some notifications here. A lot of you said you're here with me and stuff like that. People like things. Some people's birthdays, I got to get on there and tell them happy birthday. And we shared our own videos. There's Brian Kaler there, liking things and sharing things and stuff. And Travis saying he's here with us. And there you go. Now, here's something I want to show you guys just real quick. Here's how you keep people from posting on your Facebook timeline or wall without your permission. Now, look here. Travis said that he was with me. So it gives me the option. I have what's called a timeline review. Oh, Jacob, quit sending me pictures. I've got a timeline review here, okay? So I've got my settings set up to where if you post something on my timeline, I have to give permission for it to actually show up on my timeline. And so you can't just post whatever. Now there's some ways, somehow Linda gets by with it. I don't know how, but she somehow, and I'm vulnerable, so you be careful what you post on my timeline. But everybody else, I've got, sometimes though, I do see that like Linda will post something or tag me in something and it'll automatically show up. I'm like, I didn't even get asked. Like, well, I'm glad it wasn't something bad. But, and it wouldn't be. But, I mean, even my wife, she posts like, see here, she posts this and she said she was with me and 9 others or whatever, or 8 others. And it says, do you, now on my phone, it says, do you want to accept this or add it to timeline or hide it? Now, hiding it doesn't remove the post. It just doesn't show it on my timeline. Well, I don't mind, so I'm going to add it to my timeline. Actually, I just added the one that Travis sent to my timeline. That's okay because I don't mind that one either. It's just checking in for church. And then I'll add that. And so my timeline review is over. Some of that sometimes like we'll post, and we got some people liking our Facebook page there and stuff. So some people end up posting something that isn't necessarily bad. It's just something that I don't want to share with all of my friends. Some pictures that my wife and I take together, like I had a picture at our family reunion thing that we did that I don't mind like showing you guys and stuff. But there might be some Facebook friends that like hate Christmas, and so I don't want to share it publicly because they'll see it and like have a heart attack and die, and then I've got to deal with the guilt of the fact that I let that go on my page and they died from it. So I'm just kidding. So anyways, you get your notifications here, and we still have people commenting on the Happy New Year from Travis and Courtney there. So how do you do that? Let me show you that. That'll be one trick that I'll show you today. Now here's my pages that I have. I'm going to create another one today. I'll show you very quickly if I can. But you go to your little lock there. I'm trying to remember, they've changed some things around, but you go to the lock and it says who can see my stuff, who can contact me, how do I stop someone from bothering me, privacy checkup. I'm going to go to who can see my stuff. I've got mine set for public right now. I'm probably going to change it once I get the public figure page set up. But here it says, where do I review who can see? Okay, so you can go to use activity log. You can view as, let's see, who can contact me? Okay, everyone. Okay, let's just go to see more settings. There we go. All right, so timeline and tagging over here. You got general privacy. That was under your little drop down here with a little padlock. You go to see other settings. Timeline and tagging. Go to who can add things to my timeline. It says who can post on your timeline. It says friends, and then it says review post, friends, tag, or review posts friends tag you in before they appear on your timeline. I've got that turned on. So whenever somebody wants to post on my timeline, if they're my friend, they can post. But it won't show up until after I review it. Does that make sense? So that's a pretty cool feature. That keeps, because I have some friends that I don't even follow because I want them to see what I say, but I don't want necessarily I don't necessarily want to see what they have to say. Then the next one here, it says who can see things on my timeline, review what other people see. So you can review, you can say view as, and you can say, okay, I want to see it as this person or whatever. Who can see post on my timeline, friends. I've got that set as friends. You can put that public or friends of friends, whatever. So there's that. You can manage how you deal with tags. I've got review tags turned on. So if somebody tags me in a photo, I can review that. That's important. These are important things because If you allow people to tag you in photos, then someone can post a photo of whatever they want and tag you in it. It's important to be able to review that, because before you review it, it may show up on your timeline and all your friends see a picture that's not of you. It's of somebody that you would rather them not see a picture of, or of something that you would rather them not see a picture of. Someone may post vulgarity or nudity or something like that that you don't want to have on there. So that's why I have review on there. It's a little different on the phone, but it should be similar thought process. You go to settings and you go to privacy or timeline and tagging and all that. And I see you're working on that there. And then, you know, you've got when you're tagged in a post, who do you want to add to the audience if they aren't already in? Put only me. And then who sees tag suggestions when photos that look like you are uploaded? Friends. You could say nobody. I just said friends. That way, like if you guys post a picture and I'm in the background, you want to tag me, that's fine. I tag funny stuff sometimes. If I'm just fooling around, messing around, whatever, you know, I'll tag grass, you know, pew, you know, and whatever, and just so that if somebody like hovers over, like, tag the pew. And so I've got a friend request here. Jason Allen. I don't know. Do I know that guy? Yeah, I do. There he is. All right, we'll confirm. I better not get other problems because I confirmed you now. No, I'm just kidding. It's not about who you are. It's about who you're friends with. So, I don't go looking at your friends. It's a matter of, you know, if me becoming friends with you means that I have other people suggested to me, then I'm going to send you a text or a Facebook message and say, hey, you know, be careful who you're friends with. Now, I'll give you this advice real quick. You don't know them. Why do you need to be friends with them? Now, I will say on the other hand that you can use it as evangelistic, but I recommend if you're going to use Facebook as an evangelist, you're going to try to reach people for Christ. Here's how you do it. Down here where it says create, you guys can't see it. I'll go up here and do it. Under this little world thing here, or no, what was it under? It was under this little drop down right up here. Okay, the little arrow thingy. I've got my pages, and then it says create page, manage pages, create group, new groups, and all that. Now, if you want to be a Facebook evangelist, create page. Select artist, band, or public figure. Category is going to be best category, I think, for like a Facebook evangelist would be a public figure. And you can put your name in here. Pastor Aaron Campbell. Get started. And then it's going to want information. Now, we don't have time for this, so I'll do this later. But it's going to ask you for about. Who are you? What is your page about? What's the deal? Do you have a website? What is your Facebook page, your personal Facebook page? And so, you know, you put that stuff in there, then it's going to say, okay, or no, it's not asking for that. It's asking, what do you want it to be called? And then, so, you know, you can, hello, I'll finish this later. I'll do the website later too. Facebook. Oh, somebody's already got Pastor Campbell. That's why I was trying to do that, so nobody would get it before me. Hey, I like that. See if somebody has that. Yes, somebody already has it. You got to be serious. You got to be serious. A.B. Campbell. There we go. And then profile picture. Yep. I'm just going to be a flag right now. I'll add that to my favorites. Next. Bird page audience. Everyone in this location. What? People who live in this location? What's that? Everybody can be my friend here or follow me. You can actually, like for a page like that, you can. It's not a friend thing. It's just they follow you. They like you, and then they see the stuff that you post. And you don't have to see anything they post. You can have 25 billion people, although there's not that many on Earth. You can have more people than there are on the planet following you on your public figure site, and you can preach and tell them all about the Lord. And of course, you still need to set your settings because your public figure page also has options for people to post to it. So you got to make sure that you don't allow people to post to it. So you got to set those settings and everything. But I'm going to save that, and it will establish my public figure page. There it is. There's nothing to see here. Come back later, and we'll have something on there. So once I get that set up, then I can invite people. By the way, for example, on inviting people, I'll go back to that later, but let's go to here. And so I can go to the church page. Wow, we haven't posted anything for a while. Post reaches down. I posted something this morning. So on the page here, there's somewhere, you can invite friends to like this page. See that right there? Oh, it's down on the, invite friends to like this page. It says 585, we're here. Wow, there's a lot of people here. So, there's all my friends that have liked it or whatever. See, on my phone, it only gives me the option to invite people who have not. Okay, so like him, we'll invite him to like it, we'll invite him to like it. So you can just go down through and say, hey, like my page, like my page. So you can do that with your public figure page. That's our church page. And so you can go through and tell people, hey, like me. Or, like my page. Hey, he doesn't like my page? John Hartness, that's one of his 25 Facebook. There's a lot of people on here that I'm surprised don't like my page. Actually, I may not have invited them. We gotta invite David McAnally to like our page. So anyways, there you go. There's how you do that. Oh, used to be a way to just invite all of your friends list. Now you just got to go through and invite them. I'm not choosy when it comes to our church page. I want everybody to like it so that they can see the stuff that we post. It's an outreach. So, there you go. So if you're friends with me, and you haven't liked the church Facebook page, it's facebook.com/Fountain Square Baptist. And there you are. Like the page. If you're friends with me, you'll get an invite. All right. So I'll finish that another time. So there's a real quick introduction to Facebook. We didn't talk about how to set up a Facebook account or anything like that. I just gave you some of the crucial things. I want to say before we finish this, I know we should have stopped like 20, 30, 45 minutes ago. But before I finish mentioning this or talking about this, I want to let everybody know, look, what you do on social media is who you are. And so when you, and we can argue about that. We can say, oh, no, it's just my social media. It's not really what but if you were to write a book and hand it to somebody and say, here, read this, none of this came from me. None of it came from my thoughts. Now, I'm holding up the Bible, but if you try to hand somebody a book, there we go. If you write a book and you say, here's a book I wrote, I don't mean any of it. I mean, it's like, why'd you write it? What's the point? So social media is the way that you express yourself to people on the internet. It's who you are. And so if who you are on the internet is different than who you are IRL or in real life, what do we call that? Like, hey, it's like, hey, I've got this face and I've got my Facebook. It's two faces. And we're not supposed to be two-faced. We're supposed to be who we are. Now, if who you are on the internet's not good, change who you are on the internet. Now, that doesn't mean that you fake who you are. But if you're not the right, if you're wrong, then fix who you are. Easy as that. And I'm not asking anybody to be perfect, nor is God's not requiring. He is requiring perfection, but He's enabling as He requires. So He's not going to require more than He enables. But anyways, I say that to say this: what you post on there, people see, and it directly affects what they think about you. Whether you think it does or not, or whether you want to be in denial or not, what you post on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, or like, or share, or comment on, will directly affect what people think about you. So be careful, specifically what you look at, first of all, because what you look at, God sees. Secondly, sometimes you look at stuff even when you don't mean to look at it and accidentally like it. So don't look at it. Or accidentally share it. And then, we don't always like, the difference between liking and sharing is when you like something, someone may see it in this thing over here, see this little thing over here where it says so-and-so likes this, so-and-so likes that, like this person likes so-and-so's post, this person likes so-and-so's post. They might see it over there, or they might see it in their stream, their news stream or news feed. But it's not going to come up, like if they go to your page to try to find it, they're not going to find it. But if you share something, now it's not only showing up in the news feed, but it's also on your Facebook timeline, on your page. And so now, again, you shouldn't like things that you really don't like. Let me say it this way: you shouldn't like things that God doesn't like. Let's just put it that way. You shouldn't like things God doesn't like. If God doesn't like it, maybe we should change our liker to like the things God likes instead of things that we like. If we like things that God doesn't like. So, anyways, that may sound like a ramble or whatever, but that is in direct relation to a specific church discipline matter that we're dealing with right now. So, who you are is who you are. And when you reveal who you are to public, to people, and it is in contrast and in opposition to who the Bible says you should be as a Christian, then there's a problem. And so, use social media for the glory of God, not for the lust of the flesh, or the pride of life, or the lust of the eyes. So, that's my quick spiel on that. Not quick, it was a long spiel. We'll talk more about Facebook next week, and we'll try to pick up and deal with Bob Wilhelm Life Foundation. It pops up right there. It's on my chair down there. It's okay. So that's why sometimes I'll look at my watch while I'm preaching. It's because one of you guys just checked in, and it notifies me. And actually taps on my wrist and pops up. I'm like, what's that? Anyways, we'll continue on Facebook next week, Lord willing, and deal with some more features and pointers and things like that. And we'll talk about how to do this and that and whatever. And if you have any questions about Facebook between now and next week, send me those questions on Facebook, or you can write them down and hand them to me, just so that I have it where I can look at them. And some questions you may have, I have no idea the answer, so I may have to look, research and find out. Yes, sir. Yeah, you need to be careful. I mean, be careful about everything. But I mean, if you're going to give money to something, I recommend you give money to somebody you know, or something that you know the people associated with it. You know, there's Facebook and a lot of social media is used a lot to raise funds for things, and so um, there could be good stuff out there to give to, and bad stuff out there. You know, um, and false stuff that's set up for the purpose of just somebody getting money. Um, you know, everybody needs money. So, I mean, you know, everybody has a legitimate request when they say, I need money. The question is it the best thing for them for you to give them that money? And it's not always the case. Sometimes it is, but sometimes it's not. Wow. And you know what? People do that. And people are successful in doing that, unfortunately. Um, and there's legitimate need. Yeah. I'm not real familiar with how GoFundMe works. Um, that's a blessing. And like I said, everybody that asks for money has a legitimate need for money. Everybody. Well, I mean, everybody needs money for some reason or another. A real need for money, except Donald Trump, right? In fact, he even said he's not going to take his salary as president. Uh, but that'll be, I think there's 2 other presidents that did that. Anyways, now if somebody says, you know, hey, uh, if somebody says, hey, I need money, I mean, my response is, well, yeah, what for now? And, you know, and I mean, but the fact of the matter is, as we talked about, as Wyatt said too, you know, we really need to realize that the Bible way is that you provide value and you get value in return. And so now, if you're in hurt, oh yeah, that should be the goal, to provide more value than you take. Yeah, absolutely. Now there are some circumstances where somebody's in a hurt and there's nothing of value that they can provide. Sure. Well, I mean, you know, when you get somebody that's in a, and that's probably a common thing where people get things or make requests for money and stuff, and um, it'll pull on your heartstrings, and you give, and then you find out, oh, that wasn't actually like, that was like I just gave to somebody else, thinking I was giving to them. Um, you know, when you have somebody that's got, like, for example, the guy I talked about or mentioned last night, this kid who had cancer, and I mean, there was some value there transferred, and that was that this young boy, um, you know, had something to give in terms of um, spiritual value that was helpful, you know, and so yeah, something like that, yeah, right. That's a decent amount of value. And the first time that he was in the hospital, they had $250,000 in medication that he needed, and somebody just showed up with the meds and said, "Here it is." Like, I guess a doctor or a nurse or whatever, and they're like, "We don't have the money for that. Somebody already took care of it." $250,000. Yeah. So, but again, yeah, I mean that's a whole other subject we can have a whole message on sometime. But But social media is a tool just like any other tool. It can be used for good. It can be used for evil. And it is, and don't misunderstand that your social media is a reflection of who you are. And some people think that they can be somebody else on the internet. And that's the wrong thought process. Because who you are on the internet is who people see you to be. And I don't think, scripturally speaking, I don't believe that I should live a different life in front of you guys here than I live in private. What's that called? Hypocrisy. I should be who I am, and I try to be who I am. We all have a certain amount of, we dress up nice and come to church, put our bow tie on, and I'm just kidding. Not that I like bow ties. I don't usually wear them. Just felt like a bow tie today. But I didn't feel like, you know what I mean. Didn't sleep enough last night, so I needed a bow tie. But we have our, generally we have this outward appearance that we put on, but in reality, we just need to be honest. Who I need to display myself as? And if I'm ashamed to display myself for who I really am, I need to change who I really am. And what that means is, I'm not who I should be. And remember, like I said last night, well, you can't change that. The only way it can be changed is by the grace of God working in your life. So, amen. We're going to get done here because we should have started the sermon for the Sunday morning message already. Let's pray. Father, we thank you, Lord, for the many tools that you give us in which to serve you. We pray, Lord, that you just help us, Father, be honoring in your sight, pleasing in your sight. We pray that all that we do would bring glory to your name in Jesus' name.